want to do a quick, really short, quick video on the YouTube shooter. I just found out about this like a few hours ago, which says a lot about how out of the loop I am. I mean, something happens, there's event is happening, there's questions about, what's going on, there's discussion, there's controversy, there's more information comes in, there's a resolution, and so on, and I'm like, did something happen? Clueless. Partially because I have not owned a TV of any sort, or for that matter a radio, in over a decade. I haven't had a TV since Heroes came out the first time. And I don't trust CNN or anything like that. Facebook doesn't really filter news very well. Honestly, it's quite awful for that lately. I don't really watch other news channels. I don't watch news, so I have no idea. We've really come the full circle. It's technologically. It's, back you start at the beginning in like your medieval village. You're entirely reliant on a town crier or, gossip, or the gossiping fishmonger's wife, or word of mouth, in other words. And then, Industrial Revolution, printed media, the mass circulation, broadcast radio, then television, cable, satellite, internet, and then right back around I'm reliant on complete word of mouth. And it's just, I wanted to comment on this for a couple reasons. The YouTube, goodness, what the heck is her? Grimmy heck, Sadiq Nassim, I'm going to butcher this, Nassim Agdam. For a couple reasons I wanted to talk about it. One, she seems like actually kind of a weird, really interesting person. Apparently she died of her, briefly, she entered, as someone even more out of the loop than me, she entered YouTube headquarters in California and opened fire and injured 3 people, shot herself, later died of her own injuries. And it's getting, it's getting news attention because if it bleeds, it leads, as the saying goes. But also because a lot of discussion, because this isn't a usual, this doesn't fit any narrative. The person, something frustrating. One reason I don't trust CNN at all, but most news media outlets, because there always has to be some slant. Like, you can't just tell me the facts, you have to tell me what these facts mean, instead of letting me kind of make my own interpretation there. So this person was like not a guns right activist at all. Acquired her weapon completely legally in freaking California, where in an area where it's not like they're going to be very loose gun restrictions. She's a vegan bodybuilder, an Iranian, not a cis white male, just some Iranian woman who's a vegan bodybuilder, poet, PETA supporter, animal rights activist. This doesn't fit the narrative of, Billy Jim Bob got really upset about gun restrictions with his AK-47 after a Trump, inauguration or something like that. This is not one of the usual suspects, so it's getting more attention than I think it warrants. I mean, it's really awful. And right out of the gate, let me say, I don't endorse violence at all, ever, or even the threat of violence. It shouldn't be necessary, and it's never acceptable. But no buts, I really don't. At the same time, I do understand why this person flipped out, because it was YouTube restrictions, which seems like an awful thing to die over, or even get shot over. But I can empathize as to being very frustrated with YouTube. I mean, YouTube used to be, I'm usually the one to rail against that sort of, back in my day, things were better and more amazing. That's generally very seldom true. But YouTube policies used to be a lot friendlier to smaller YouTube posters, and now it's not. I mean, after I got first de-emphasized and then completely demonetized as like the incentive, the drive to keep doing this at all just kind of fizzled away. There's no point to it. It's like that low rung on the ladder just moved so much higher. It was like, oh, what's the point? And what's to keep them from knocking it up even further later on or in the near future? So, I mean, I think Nassim here was crazy. I mean, that's not a reasonable expectation or reaction to bad YouTube policies. But at the same time, I do understand. Like, I'm very frustrated with it myself. I think I might abandon YouTube entirely, and that's kind of my point. It's like, instead of shooting people, just go to a different platform. YouTube is advantageous simply because it's large, but other stuff will get large if you build it, they'll come. I don't know, kind of disjointed at this point. It just really struck me as something I have to talk about, and I haven't really talked about anything of real value or weight at all in quite a while. Partially because, funnily enough, partially because of the YouTube shit that Nassim here was pissed off. I have no idea where else to go with this. I have no interpretation of this. I mean, I'm not a liberal or a conservative. I'm neither of those. I don't consider myself halfway in between the two at all, although I'm told that's what libertarians are supposed to be. I'm not. I don't think we are, and I'm not myself. I don't have a slant for this. I don't have this proves some belief of some sort. Just doesn't. Thoughts. Closing thoughts. Okay, so I don't think any mass shooting makes a striking point for a policy decision. I don't. They're just too weird. They're unusual events. In the last couple cases, the ones that got a lot of attention, I should really do a whole nother video on the Cruz one. There's so much to talk about in that one too. There were plenty of regulations that keep guns out of people's hands. There were plenty of regulations to help people with mental issues. There were plenty of warnings that this person, this person in the case of this woman or Cruz a few weeks earlier, were going to do something extreme, possibly dangerous or violent. Gun restrictions do nothing. At the same time, I don't see how arming a bunch of teachers or arming a bunch of YouTube employees would have helped. It's just silly either way. These aren't good examples and they're rare events. They are really rare. I mean, even in a country this size, the third largest country in the entire world, you can't use a mass shooting, like someone losing it and attacking people, as a policy prescription. It doesn't work. It doesn't work out. It isn't fair. It isn't right, and you shouldn't be politicizing a tragedy. I guess that's it. I'm out.